Welcome to Enhancing Your Empathic Journey Now. I am the AliNICOLE, wow, she does it all. Also an Empathic-preneur Empire Advisor. And joining me in this segment is my Star King Celebrity-preneur Protege. He's also emerging empath writers empowerment mentor, Tom Tom. And we will be discussing the importance of self-empowerment for enhancing your empathic journey. Tom Tom's also going to provide a few tips. We've got some resources of his to help you take your experience to the next level. Thanks for joining me, Tom Tom. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are most welcome. I'm excited to talk about this because this is a very, very important topic as it relates to the empathic journey and being able to be self-empowered. Because before I bring you in to really start talking about this, I want to preface by just mentioning that often on the empathic journey, empaths, as you know, you're one, so they give out, quite a bit, and sometimes they don't allow themselves to be, empowered, and or then when they are, they may go to someone and they're getting some type of empowerment, but it then becomes more kind of a codependent, relationship of because they've spent a lot of time in some other areas, then a lot of times they end up getting kind of wounded by overgiving and overserving. And so with you, what you do, being someone you're a champion for others, you're always making people laugh. You always got some empowering words for others, even when it's maybe a tough pill to swallow. So I just want you to kind of share from your perspective um, how important self-empowerment is and why you think it's really important for enhancing the empathic journey. And of course, you can share any other thing that you want to, and then we'll, get into sharing some other tips and things.
Well, for starters, empowerment, the importance of empowerment, it's important because it'll boost your confidence, by helping
Okay.
other people. Yeah, by helping other people and trying to understand their point of view, it'll make you feel more appreciated and more effective. And
Hmm.
that'll, in turn, that'll make you feel empowered.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you really think that believe that's important for empaths, particularly why? Because I know I talked a little bit about some of the characteristics or things that empaths find themselves in. We've all been there, but you want to share why you think it's even more important for empaths, particularly, to be self empowerment, having that self empowering factor in their journey.
Yeah, I'll definitely get to that. But uh,
Hmm.
I didn't even know uh, uh, you the one that told me that I was an empath. I noticed things,
Hmm.
certain things happening, but I didn't know it was because I was an empath till
Yeah.
you told me. And I was a disempowered empath.
Mm.
I mean, no, that's somebody that had power but lost it. A lot of
Mm.
people, a lot of empaths get their power away to other people's situations and events. They lose their
Yeah.
power every time they get lost in somebody else's pain and suffering. They don't know
Wow.
which emotions belong to them and which emotions belong to the other person.
Oh, that's powerful. Ooh, that is powerful. I love where this is going already. And I now wish that this was going to be a longer segment. That right there, that was the chief cornerstone right there for sure. Oh man, that was great. It's like, well, where do we move forward from there? Because we could just, stay on there for quite some time. But I know we do have to move on. I like what you said. That's very important. Is the simple fact that when you do um, allow yourself to be in a disempowering place, then even though you may be someone who's been giving away power, thinking that you're um, being the empowerment source, but not being sourced yourself, is really pulling from um, a place of disempowerment. It's almost like trying to pour from a vessel that is not full. It doesn't have the containments within it to really be able to give out. So it's already a shortage. And I love what you said about you recognize for yourself that you were a disempowered empath, and then the recognition or the awareness, obviously through our experience, then you recognize that, okay, I'm a powerful individual, but now I have to come into a new level of power and understand that as an empath, um, what those common traits are and how to make those shifts. And I will definitely say you made those shifts brilliantly. So your growth has
Yeah.
been phenomenal. Mm-hmm.
Because if I knew back then, like when I was really going through it, then if I knew that, not only that I was an empath, but a disempowered empath, these feelings would have made sense to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, it's not the awareness that comes about it until people reach a certain point. And it's interesting because what I have definitely found is that it's not typically until most are starting to reach their 40s or so that experience starts to become extremely illuminated. And because you've had to have lived life, a certain way. And when people who are actually called to be part of the empathic experience, they normally aren't really aware that they are empaths until quite some time. And then when the journey gets a little bit more intense, then what tends to happen is then the greater awareness comes, then there's awakenings, around that. And then the journey to now the empowerment and the acceleration, and then the metamorphosis. And so that's something, like I said, you have been experiencing. And I loved your, like I said, your transparency, your vulnerability to just say, right out the gate, you were disempowered, even though you're a person who is a source of empowerment to others. And but that's typically again how it happens, is that empaths will be giving away their power in terms of trying to be powerful for others and hold that space, and then yet unaware of, I don't even want to say their nature, because I won't say that that's a true nature of an empath. It's just that things that they have absorbed, and just the unawareness of their high sensitivity. So this just speaks volumes to why the self-empowerment aspect is really important. So since we're talking about enhancing the empathic journey in now, in the present, so do you want to share any tips or so that you want to give others to jumpstart, or either level up if they're an empath?
Yeah. Um, I guess what I could say, like before you can empower anybody else, you got to empower yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you got to do it no matter what, whether you feel like it or not. It's important to empower yourself to keep moving forward.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
having other people inspire you or working with a coach to keep you accountable, that's good and all, but you need to be your own source of empowerment
That's right.
for
You
yourself
said
to
it.
get things done.
Mm-hmm. You hit the
And
hammer on the nail. Mm-hmm.
I would say my first thing I would tell somebody is get out ahead of yourself by creating your own self-empowerment cards.
Yes.
Like getting some index cards and writing your own motivational affirmations, quotes, or power words, and
Mm-hmm.
empowering reminders for staying focused.
Indeed. Those are excellent tips. Now, that is exactly how one enhances their empathic journey through self empowerment. And I love that you brought that up. And especially because I talked in the beginning how empaths often can be, like I said, the source of empowerment for others. But then when it comes to the empowerment for themselves, and then they get with someone else to empower them, it then becomes kind of, like I said, a codependent aspect relationship where they're not really empowering themselves. And it is important to fill yourself up and to be that source of empowerment. You've done an excellent job with that, and that's why obviously I have you here talking about this. um, but yeah, so that, yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Something I want to do real quick, I want to segue to um, mention a few resources and a platform that you have. So I just want to say, because Tom Tom is a champion for so many, and definitely being one now in the empathic community. And so there are two resources that can really help to enhance your empathic journey, especially during this time as you are leveling up and learning how to be a source for yourself of empowerment. So one of his publications, and all of these are on Amazon, is The Ultimate Champion Success Drive. It is unleashing your inner champions, next level of passion, purpose, and possibilities. Second resource is Powering Up for Your Next Level. It's an empowerment and implementation guide for successfully achieving goals. And then he has a platform on Tumblr. It is Unleash Your New Empathic Superpowers. And all of what I'm mentioning is going to be in the description box. And you'll learn a little bit more about him there as well. So Tom Tom, before we get ready to wrap up, and first of all, I just want to say thank you again for being on this platform. And let me tell you, everything that you have shared has been tremendous. And this is very much one of the highlight signature segments for sure of this series. And I feel that it is extremely important in everything that you shared. These are just more than just golden nuggets. I mean, there's a treasure chest here, because something that you mentioned that's very powerful is that, yeah, before you can really set out to start empowering others, you really have to be that source of empowerment for yourself. And that's the best place to start, is to start at home. Start with you first. And so, and then notice that, or recognize that it is always about taking it to the next level. Just as you mentioned, in terms of you are someone who is empowering others, but then you realize in your empathic experience that you were, disempowered from that particular vantage point. And so now, with the realization of that, you've been empowering yourself more, leveling up in that area, and now being this champion, for the empathic community. So I'm gonna, turn it over to you for anything you want to close out, with, or anything else that you have to say. I just want to thank you again for participating.
Well, like I said, it's crucial. You got to empower yourself. You got to empower yourself by believing that your work is important enough to make a change in the life of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Empowerment is not a casual act for a leader. And leaders that
Right.
don't believe in empowerment can be isolated from their teams if they have one. That can diminish the long-term success of that team.
Oh yeah.
Empowerment is not just a concept that's nice to have. It's crucial for high performance. Whether you
Mm-hmm.
work alone or have a team.
Mm-hmm.
Flexibility is a necessity of empowerment too, and adaptability is equally important. Because if you got a team, they'll lose interest real quick, and enthusiasm if your program is unworkable, threatening, or inflexible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, empowerment should be part of every leader's toolkit, because it
That's
invests
right.
in people, and there's no greater return on investment than any aspect of life or profession. And as far as ways to turn being an empath into your superpower, I close out with these 8 steps.
Okay.
Number 1, acknowledge that you're an empath. If you're an empath, compassion is your calling.
Mm.
Number 2, trust your intuition. As an empath, you're highly sensitive. Number 3, don't play victim. Number 4, set boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, meditate. Number
Mm.
6, breathe. 7, transmute negative energy. And 8, love yourself.
Powerful.